to another episode of KAP Sports. We have a huge episode for you guys tonight as we're going to get into the ever so controversial college football playoff bracket that got released this past Tuesday and all the drama that's come with it. To my left, we have the Peyton Simpson. As always, to my right, we have Preston, and joining back again this Friday is KJ.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
All right, so a huge conference championship weekend with huge, massive implications of going towards the college football playoff.
Before we start, can I just get you to say rivalry week?
Nope, you can't. No, you can't. No, it's no longer rivalry weekend.
Rivalry week.
No, it's
Okay.
no
That's
longer
kind of tough to say.
He's
It is.
0 for 2.
Yep.
It's
No longer rivalry weekend.
He is no Dr. Seuss, I'll tell you that.
No, I was never good at reading those books or reading, so here's that. But yes, conference championship weekend, huge games coming up for the playoffs. Some teams outside looking in. A lot of teams are perfectly set for the playoff. So yeah, let's get it going with some conference championships.
All right, so tonight we're going to start off with UNLV and Boise State. That is the very first major conference championship. We've got a few tonight, but I would say that one definitely holds some major implications.
Which is crazy to think that a Mountain West conference championship would have a major implication on a playoff.
Well, when you got
spot.
Ashton Genty, it's hard not to.
When you got the Heisman.
The should-be Heisman.
I've seen so much drama on that too. Like I've seen cases for
Do we
both
care
sides.
about snaps, total
Yeah.
snaps? Do
Yeah.
we care about someone that produces?
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, so
What about when total snaps produces?
but not to the extent
Not to the
that
extent
that
Genty-
Genty has.
If he was like,
anybody can do, any normal athlete,
Easy.
okay, not normal, but any just slightly above average athlete can do what Hunter's doing. It takes a rare specimen to do what Genty's
So
doing.
let me ask you a question from the Bama fans in the room. Who's better, Ashton Genty or Derrick Henry?
as a
As a pure running back, who's better, Derrick Henry or Ashton Genty?
I'm gonna say Genty.
Genty, dude.
Why?
He's
I know
the
where you're going with this, and I
prototypical build.
refuse to play this game.
He's on a worse team than Henry had. When he
Playing
was at
worse
Bama.
competition.
But he's equivalent.
But he's
of that,
using the same
He's
offensive line
equivalent
competition.
of that competition.
Right.
He's equivalent of that competition. And he's producing these level of numbers.
Like he's not using an Alabama offensive line. He's using a Boise State offensive line. So he's playing against worse talent, but the talent
And he's
in
had, like-
front of him is just as equally bad.
He's had like 4 games where he's only played one half of football and still put up over 150, 200 yards.
I mean,
Okay.
no doubt he should be in a Power 4. But
KJ, what's your side of this?
We'll
story?
agree to disagree.
Okay.
But if you're going to put Ashton Genty in the SEC, how many people really know his statistical
Yeah.
grounds to stand on?
I believe I don't think he'd be at 2,200 yards rushing. I think he'd still be at about 1,700, 1,800.
I think he'd be about 80% of what he's done, 75.
I think when you play guys that are bigger than you every week, running against those lines every week makes a big difference from playing people that you can stand up in the background and just know you're getting the ball handed off.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I agree the numbers that got put up are outstanding and it's fantastic as it be. We're talking about a two-way superstar who is what? He's got 4 games with an interception and a touchdown in the same game. He's making difference on both sides of the football.
You don't think Ryan Williams could go and do the same thing?
I don't.
You're crazy.
I don't.
I actually kind of agree with him on that.
I don't.
Y'all, okay.
I played wide receiver and cornerback in high school, and they're 2 different positions. And
Obviously.
let me tell you, it is so much easier to
But
run the
look at-
route knowing where I'm going
Yes.
than it is to understand
It
where
is.
the receiver in front of me is moving.
It
to.
is. But I'm saying we know that Ryan Williams is a generational talent, right?
I agree.
Absolutely. Has phenomenal body control. On top of all of that, is an elite pass catcher. You're telling me you don't think that he can read the ball and know? Okay, not maybe from a cornerback position, but from a safety, absolutely.
I mean, when it's in the air,
Well, safety is a whole lot different than
Yeah.
corner
Yeah.
too.
when it's in the air,
I'm just
If I'm creating a play on NCAA, I'd much rather be safety than corner.
agreed.
yeah.
I don't think that you see two-way superstars like Travis Hunter often, who came out of high school as the number 1 pick, lived up to that hype each division he's went to, and
has
now
performed.
Okay,
Yeah.
do you think if Travis Hunter was in the SEC that he would put up the numbers he's put up?
I mean, it depends. Are you talking about the wide receiver side? Or are you talking about the cornerback side?
I think he would offensively. I don't believe he would have defensively. So, I mean, you're making the case for Ashton Jeanty, how he would have performed in the SEC. Let's put that same level of thought on Travis Hunter in the SEC.
And it's talent on
because I think,
competition.
Yeah,
talent.
I think the level of competition that Colorado is in is pretty much equivalent to what Boise State's probably dealt with throughout the year.
As a running back, you have a few different things that make you elite, and it's the burst of speed, which I don't know how many people Ashton Jeanty really outrun in the big time of football. I don't know how many people Ashton Jeanty outruns, but he's not running over.
No.
He's not running over your Florida defensive line.
Of course not. Yeah.
You're not busting through. Unless you get on the outside, you don't really do much of that. You look at Derrick Henry.
It's also unfair to compare him to Derrick Henry.
With all this being said, it's proving a point. Is Boise State in the situation that they're in now without Jeanty?
No.
Compared to Colorado in the situation they were in with Travis Hunter.
Okay, so I actually saw this on Twitter. If Ashton Jeanty was on Colorado's team, they would be a top 12 team, realistically, probably one of the top 4 seeds. If Travis Hunter was on Boise's team,
right,
then who knows if they'd be in top 12.
And going back to the Derrick Henry conversation, if he's on any team anywhere, he carries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
He probably would have broke if he was playing anywhere but Alabama in today's game. He'd probably be hitting close to 3,000 yards.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So,
but it's unfair to compare anybody.
But you're telling me that Derrick Henry would put up worse numbers than Ashton Jeanty.
No, if he played at Boise State, no, he would put up equivalent or better numbers.
And Henry is who we compare Jeanty to in the recent era in wildly 2 different conferences.
Mm-hmm. But why are we comparing them?
Because we only see Jeanty in a conference that is.
You know why they're only comparing
Derrick Henry was the last Heisman winning running
back.
Exactly.
So that's reason 1. Reason 2 is because no one has even gotten close to what Henry's done until this guy. That's the only reason why he's being compared. I think it's an unfair comparison.
When you're talking about the Heisman, who is the overall of college football, which is a quarterback award, I believe.
If you want to talk about that, is the Heisman? It goes just like the MVP of any professional sport. It's really who the best is, but we all know that it does not ever get given to the best.
Yeah.
So you're telling me Travis Hunter is the best college football player in college football?
Do I believe he's the most impactful? Yes,
No,
which is most of the time what a quarterback on a winning team is the most impactful player on the field because the quarterback is the most impactful position on the field.
He doesn't play quarterback.
I don't know. How far does a pass defended and an interception really go? You know what I mean? It's not like getting 25 touches.
Well, wasn't he in the top 10 in both receiving and defensive categories?
He was just left out of the Jim Thorpe award.
He was, but no, he is. So for receiving, he's in
he's the top 5 of the receiving.
Yeah, receiving receptions, yardage, and touchdowns. He is in the.
Well, it helped. He had 5 touchdowns. Last weekend against Oklahoma State?
Yeah, it's 4.
Well, it helps when you got a possible first overall pick quarterback throwing the football to you.
So he did have 4, so that boosted him quite a bit. But no, he's in the top 10 defensively as well. I'm not arguing that he's not a phenomenal athlete and that what he's doing isn't generational talent. But when you're comparing it to what Ashton Jeanty is doing, if it was so easy, then all the other running backs in the country.
I hope Boise State. They get the dub tonight. They probably have that number 4 spot locked up.
Yeah.
To see Ashton Jeanty play against these bigger teams,
that's what I'm ready for.
more defenses, that's who.
We ultimately
when is the Heisman? It's in January, isn't it?
No, it's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
in December.
Crap, because especially now with the expanded playoff, you get to see your Heisman hopefuls, your front runners, play against these bigger teams, these better talent. Wait till the weekend of the national championship. The national championship was on a Monday. Do the awards the Saturday before.
That was the debate last year. So they did the Heisman selection before bowl games. Jaden Daniels sat out the bowl game, but he had already locked up the Heisman.
Yeah, so I feel like it should. I don't feel like it should take into account any sort of bowl games with it. I think it needs to be based solely on regular season performance because a lot of these guys that are up for the award don't get the opportunity. I mean, actually, Travis Hunter is a perfect example. He's not playing. In the
this is Jeanty's time to shine against a good UNLV team.
What grade? What age? What year is Jeanty?
I believe.
Do we know that?
I believe he's a junior.
Yeah,
junior.
I think he's.
I know he's a junior.
I think he's going after this year.
Okay,
I'm about to say,
let's confirm that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have it
He's
readily
going after this
available.
year.
so this playoff run that they could potentially go
Because
on.
if he doesn't do even if he rushed for 1,700 yards and 22 touchdowns next year, his stock would still fall.
Agreed.
this
He could have an outstanding year.
This
Outside
potential
of the
run-
Heisman.
Yeah.
this potential run he could possibly go on is going to boost. I mean, I think he's already a top 10 pick.
Oh, I'm sure.
At this point.
I can't
He is a
see a
junior,
world.
yeah.
I can't see a world where it's not.
Yeah.
That makes you
So
question where
he's
he
got
would.
28 touchdowns this year.
Yep.
That's like LaDainian Tomlinson.
So
numbers.
you can filter. So if you go to his actual stats, it'll have rushing and receiving. So I think it's just showing his total.
No, he has.
might be able to see-
No, he has 28 rushing.
Rushing.
I do know that.
Okay.
So and 29 in total.
So he has
So
one.
one receiving
yeah.
touchdown. And a lot of his
I
touchdowns.
don't care what conference you're in. That's elite.
Yeah.
I don't care because
Because he's breaking a lot of tackles too. Like
I'm
he's
not
a
saying-
bowling
Look
ball.
at Josh Allen.
I'm not saying
Wyoming.
it's not elite, but there's
Yeah.
a difference between every guy you run up, like try to run through is somewhere in that 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" range,
Yeah.
somewhere in that 300-pound range.
And I agree where you're coming. I mean, you may not believe me, but I agree with where you're coming from on this overall. I really do. But I mean, I'm not saying he'd put up the numbers in the SEC he's putting up currently.
AI just
But
needs
I
to.
believe that he is putting up the numbers he should on the competition he's playing against because clearly at some point in time, teams and ultimately Boise State thought that was what caliber player he is. So he is outplaying his expected performance realistically.
I agree, and I'm not saying he's not a generational talent. He's a great football player.
I'm not even saying he's generational.
And the way he runs the football, like you can tell that like he understands the game of how of what he does. But my only thing is the only real competition he's played, which is what's holding him up, is the Oregon game.
Mm-hmm.
When Oregon played their second worst football game of the year,
And he still went off?
and that's what we compare to is the Oregon game where Oregon plays their second worst football game of the year.
Yeah.
You catch them, what is that, week 2?
Yeah.
I think week 3 they played the Idaho Vandals
Yeah.
or whatever and got taken down to the wire in that game.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been a whole different team that he's getting compared to versus the team that he played.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's exceptions. I mean, you'll see these guys come out of these Group of 5 conferences and go to the NFL and just shine. So is that what it will take for you to be like, okay, now I believe his college numbers?
I think it's going to take – I look at Travis Genty like I do an Indiana football team.
Travis
You're-
Genty?
Sorry, same thing. Wouldn't that be
That'd be
something?
one
No,
heck of a
running
player
back,
there.
wide receiver, and cornerback. But no, I look at Ashton Genty the same way as I do like this Indiana football team. Like you're a prove it to me football team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to.
As a team, I agree with that.
I need to see you go in and you go play
and win.
one of these big dogs. And
I need them to win.
You ain't necessarily got to win. I need you to show me that
you
you,
can
go
hang.
up against Georgia, you go up against Texas. I mean, you go up against Penn State for all I care. And you're about to go in there and you're about to give them a 4-quarter football game.
Yeah.
And I need to see Genty. He ain't got to break records. He ain't got to score. He ain't got to run for 6 touchdowns. But I need to see him average somewhere in that 5 yards a carry. What he's doing now out there in the Mountain West. I need to see him come in and not get held to what UNLV, who they play tonight, held them to at somewhere around 1.5 yards a carry in the biggest games of the year.
So I have a point to refute to that. So do you remember the days of Leonard Fournette at LSU?
I
He
do.
was like the hot commodity top draft
When they
pick.
played Alabama, and he ran
Came
for
to
34
years in a row.
yards.
and he
years in a
rushed
row.
for like 17 yards,
And then
but
he
went
fell.
to the NFL.
Then he fell off the Heisman race
Yeah.
after that.
But
But he still
they're-
went to the NFL and was.
I'm
more
not
than
saying he's not
capable.
going to the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
He's just talking
he
Heisman.
fell off. After that game, he went for 208 yards against Auburn. And then he had like 3 200-yard rushing games. Comes to Alabama's at this game. And I watched Alabama spy Leonard Fournette. It might not have been 34. I think it was 31.
Yeah, it was
rushing yards.
At one point, he was like
And
negative.
after that,
8.
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing anything about him until like week 11 of the season when he busted out like a 130-yard rushing game
And that happened
against a
2
high
years in a
school
row.
football team.
2 years in a row that happened.
I mean, with all this being said, we are highly rooting for Ash Genty
Yeah.
to
Yes.
perform. Like they win tonight against UNLV, who gave them a
Absolutely
fight.
fit 1.5
earlier,
yards
yeah.
a carry
So-
against UNLV in Las Vegas.
So
last
that's a
time they
revenge
played.
game for
That's
Boise
what
State.
Ashton Genty.
That's what Ashton's worst
That-
game of the year.
There's
is
no
the
way.
Is the
Boise-
UNLV
he's
game.
had
Boise
over
pulled out a
a
close one, 5
He's
Won
had
by
over
5.
100 yards rushing.
No,
every game.
it was his worst game of the year was
Peyton,
UNLV.
stat me on that. Okay, I'm not saying. I just want to know what his numbers were for that game.
Yeah, let me go through it.
And so for me though, like I'm not saying that Travis Hunter isn't deserving of a Heisman. I'm just making the case of the Ashton Genty is probably more deserving.
There's no third person in this running. There may be 4 people in the finalists.
I don't think that they're going to. I think that this happened probably in the last decade, where there was a time where they only brought 2 finalists to the award show, due to it being these guys were so.
He had 128 yards and a touchdown against UNLV,
but his average was 3.9.
3.9.
Okay, that's what it was.
So
which is really good. I mean, every 2.5 carries is a first down.
33. So to have the
he's averaging about
endurance,
30 carries a game anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
to have that endurance has to be counted.
No,
for
it's
something.
fantastic. And Genty as a ball player, like I said, he's a phenomenal ball player. I just want to see the comparison be made between all the other greats that people compare him to, not the numbers on the stat sheet. I want to see the quality of people that he put those numbers up against.
Yeah.
And how many NFL like football players is he running up against every week, weekend?
This is why we have AI now.
Yeah. So
AI can
who's
do
a
that
good
for us.
NFL team that he would fit? They would actually utilize him properly. Like
Cowboys.
no, they
Probably.
wouldn't. No,
I
they
see
wouldn't.
that.
No, the Cowboys. I agree. I've heard some talk about that they probably somehow will be the ones that draft him. I do not think that he would do well with the Cowboys.
I'd see him going.
Nobody
off
does
the
well with the
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
That's where dream's gonna die.
I don't think that he would do. I mean, realistically, if they
I'm
didn't
rooting
have,
for him not to go
if
to
they
the
didn't have
Cowboys.
Saquon, I think he would do well with the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean any offensive line you put him behind that's like got some competency between them.
But that's what's tough about, and this goes back decades and decades, like being the best player in college is at your disadvantage because you're going to a NFL team who was garbage and earned a top, 5-10 pick for a reason. It's like they weren't good.
You failed up.
Only the all-timers can transcend a
Yeah.
terrible team, terrible situation in NFL.
I mean, I truly can't think of
Because Derrick Henry was on the Titans.
A team-
a team
he was a
hasn't.
second round pick.
we can move on from that. We can go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Everybody that's quick to throw out the record setting year and like the stat book when it comes down to that. I just wanted my hat. I wanted my ring to be thrown in the hat for old Travis Hunter because I think it's exceptional what he's doing on both sides of the
Absolutely,
football.
yeah. You don't get a guy like that.
Just for what it's worth, Fox Sports has Travis Hunter as the
He's going to win.
favorite. I mean,
Yeah.
minus
He's gonna-
5,000 odds.
Yeah, he was minus 340 with like 4 weeks left in a season.
I think everyone knows he is going to win.
That's what.
Which sucks for Genty because it's like the year I'm going off, there's a cat down the road
And you
who's
can't
playing
help
both
that.
sides of the ball and playing good ball.
You can't help that. It's like when Tua lost to Kyler Murray in the Heisman race that year when Kyler Murray was doing everything he was doing. You can't help that. Sometimes people just have them.
Tua missed 2 games that year too because he got hurt the LSU game. And
Yeah, I think
A&M.
I think he lost it in the SEC championship.
I think
When
he lost.
Jalen come back in for that storybook moment.
he
I
lost
think
it
he
in that
lost
one
it in the
half.
LSU game when he got hurt. To be perfectly honest.
Well, we can move on. I did have a disagreement on the Genty side of things.
So we completely we stayed on topic, but got off topic because ultimately we're talking about Boise State, UNLV. So okay, let's do our picks here. Who we got winning tonight?
I got Boise.
Boise, Peyton.
I went Boise.
I already know your answer. He's picking UNLV.
Yeah.
He's taking Vegas because they are
Vegas, baby, house always wins.
Yeah.
Well, Vegas is not favored, right?
I do.
That's a little bit of a paradox there.
I understand.
So the only game
Boise
that
favored
betting against him.
Boise State favored by 4.
You think
The
the
only-
Mafia's in their pocket? UNLV, you think they're just putting in some NIL money?
Kaepernick, maybe.
Maybe it's like a point shaving system there at UNLV.
I know.
UNLV, that's when their quarterback early in the year.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Y'all didn't promise me.
I forgot
what-
about that.
Yeah.
Which is dumb for him. We talked about it in our test
Yeah, we
footage. The quarterback was told
the
what
NIL
was going to do, but he didn't sign anything.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, y'all
Wasn't
didn't.
like a verbal agreement or
Yeah.
something. And
It's like,
One
first
of
of
the-
And then
all,
that
you're an
running because
idiot.
the running back that his buddies with also
well,
went to the
he
same-
was like a 4-string running back. He just kind of hopped on that train because he wasn't going to play there
Yeah.
anyways. So one of the casino moguls, I wish I could remember exactly which one. You might be able to look it up. Offered to pay that quarterback.
really to stay.
Offered to just I'll give you the $500,000 right now. Pay him when all that was going on. And that's just made out to be a mess of a situation. But
And now they're looking at a spot potentially in the playoffs.
give me UNLV, baby. All right.
So I'm taking Boise as well. I do believe it's their game to lose. I think they've got it in the bag.
Matthew
though.
Sluka is his name.
Sluka, that was who's the quarterback now? He come in and I think
Obviously, he's probably had a good year.
I mean he's lost in only 2 games, but one of them was to Syracuse. Is UNLV a 1-loss team?
What's up, say?
Is UNLV a 1-loss team?
Let's see.
Here we go.
Well, I'm looking up 7 things.
Well, you know what? A good stat guy would
We need
look
two
at that.
Look, he's got tabs.
2 Jamies.
2 Jamies.
Who's Jamie?
Do you not watch Joe Rogan? Come on. Now.
Oh,
You uncultured swine.
They have 2
sorry.
losses.
Oh, have a
2.
lie.
1 to Syracuse, who beat Miami, and 1 to Boise State.
That's what. Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
All right.
The Syracuse loss coming overtime too. Go Cuse.
All right, let's switch gears though. Let's go ahead and move into
Yep,
the
I got you.
Tulane Army game.
Now we're going to go into the most important game of the night. It's Jacksonville State Gamecocks.
The rematch, baby.
Hosting-
Viewers, I want
Shut-
y'all to tell me what state Jacksonville State is from.
Most of the viewers are probably our friends who know that I went. Anyway, that is a good question. If you can
And it's
comment.
not in Florida, let me tell you that.
Here we go. All
I
right.
bet they know where Western Kentucky is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they got a rematch with Western Kentucky tonight at home at Jacksonville State.
We should have won.
Second season in the conference, gets to host the conference championship game under Rich Rodriguez.
Huge.
Tyler Huff at the helm, who came on third week of the season against Eastern Michigan, lost in overtime, inevitably went on an 8 straight game win streak. Lost last week in Western Kentucky, but they get a rematch tonight for the conference championship. Who I feel like Conference USA champion should have a say in the playoff.
No, so JSU, I mean, remember earlier in the year we were talking about like they had a rough start.
disappointing.
Yeah, rough start to the year, but they've completely turned around. So
Yep.
I mean that's huge for the program.
How's JSU done for your pockets, KJ?
Well, let me tell you, Coastal Carolina took every bit of my money that game, and I ain't seen another one since.
No, you stayed away.
I did.
Yeah, you never bet with your home team.
Yeah, too many strings attached.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, we should have went to the game though.
It's cold outside,
You ain't
son.
lying.
It
But
is
we in the
cold.
South.
But the UNLV quarterback who plays now, his name is Haj Malik Williams.
Yeah, and I'm pretty
It's a cool name.
That sounds like Aziz Azul.
not to get
Aziz
off topic.
Al-Shire.
Yeah, that's a cool
Not to
one
get
for
off
that.
topic, but Osuka was in the running to be replaced.
Who the frick is that?
That's the QB who dipped out because of the 100,000.
Oh, that was like
He was in the running to be replaced before
You think so?
that news come out.
But yeah, so that's going on tonight. You got another game tonight. Tulane and the nation's team with Army. Rooting for Army. USA.
I would like to say
we
thank
go.
you to all of our troops.
Yeah.
God bless everyone that served this country. I have the mass amount of respect for what you guys do. But with that being said,
Roll wave.
I'm taking Tulane to win.
he
and
likes their
cover.
colors. That's why. He's a big fan of the colors.
That is their saying too. Roll wave.
Yeah.
Go USA.
Yeah.
Forever and
Tulane
always.
wave.
All right.
So that's going on tonight. So going into
Wait. Who y'all taking? Who?
JSU.
Okay. Peyton. Do you
Yeah,
even know
I
who
guess
they are?
I'll be for the culture.
All right. Yeah. JSU. All right. So Army, Tulane.
Go Cox.
Army,
Give me-
Tulane. Who are we taking?
Give me no Tulane.
I already know who you're taking.
I like Tulane.
Tulane.
Hey, didn't they lose to Memphis last
They
week?
did.
Yeah,
give me Army.
Tulane. That's Louisiana.
Give me
They're
Army.
hot
Yeah,
pocket.
we got to. Yeah, me and Peyton, we got to rep.
I'm setting my own on this
Oh,
one.
you actually, you're
I'm
not.
with you.
You're not a Louisiana
I'm
kid.
not.
No, no, you are. And you're
Yeah,
right.
y'all three are going.
Tulane.
Alabama only.
Yeah.
All right, well, y'all are.
Now let's get into the important stuff here. Okay, I mean, these were
Yep, yep,
just. These are little filler games. Okay.
Well, that UNLV game has some weight behind it.
It does. No, yeah, that is true.
Yeah, that's a playoff spot.
But let's get to the stuff that matters. And that's Saturday's games. Okay?
Yes, sir. Iowa State, Arizona State kicking it off tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Why are conference championship games played first thing in the morning?
Because of who they're broadcasting.
Because there's only 4 tomorrow, and the other 3 are way bigger than they are.
And that's fine, but like.
You stapled a
at
blank
least
sheet
give
of paper to my bag here.
At least do it 12 o'clock.
It's 12, and
Yeah, but
That
Where's-
is,
where's
they
their-
know. Look, that is due to beer sales. They know that if they start the game
it's
earlier.
12 on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Where's that game being played at? Iowa State, Arizona State.
It's in Arizona State, yeah.
They don't get a neutral site?
I believe it's in Arizona.
Big 12 doesn't get a
it
neutral
at,
site?
I couldn't tell you that.
At the Cardinal Stadium. or
Actually, I
something?
believe
That's what I better
they're in
find out.
Texas.
Go to the schedule.
I believe they're in
got it right
Texas. I believe that game's being played in Texas.
Dallas?
No.
Or-
Arlington, Texas.
Arlington, yeah.
So they are playing in Jerry
Yeah.
World. Nice. Good for them. That'll be the.
Yeah, watch out. Bring your shades.
Oh,
Bring
yeah.
your shades and bring a helmet because the ceiling may fall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Piece
crazy.
of the shingle.
They had a
may
rough couple
fall
weeks.
from the
Rough
from
couple
the
weeks.
ceiling. Yeah. So who we got in that game?
Is there any points you want to talk about?
So, before we get into who we're picking, Arizona State has one of the best running backs in the country. I didn't say the, I said one of, in Bo Scatabo, who has absolutely carried this Arizona State team, who coming into the season, nobody thought they were going to be worth anything.
Yep.
Everybody wrote them off.
From party school to football school.
They have beautiful women, a beautiful running back, and give me the Sun Devils
I like
to
it.
take down the Big 12.
I
You
like
talked me
it.
into it.
I like it, dude. That's a
Iowa State, one of, at times this season, their worst part of their defense has been their run defense. Secondary is not great. I think Arizona State has a running back who can explode when you don't stack the box, and I think they got a wide receiving core who can make somebody hurt
yeah.
when you load the box up too much. Give me Arizona State. Riding them all year, I'm going to ride them now.
Another game too. Winner gets that 12th spot in the playoff.
Yeah. Arizona State, though, I completely agree with everything.
I like their unis.
Yeah,
Yes,
they got some good
bring
units.
back
some good
bring back
colors.
the throwback helmets,
Yeah.
baby.
I
with
want
the
give me-
little
I don't know why Sparky ever left.
pitchfork devil on it. No, their running back though, like you said, Bo is pretty daggum good. He's repping guys like us here. So he's a white running back for those of you who didn't know.
He's a DWB.
Yeah. And again, remind the audience what that means because a particular set might think it means something else. So
Dirty white boys.
yeah. So
We need more of those.
Spot on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who y'all got?
okay, no,
I got Arizona State. You taught me into it.
Yeah, no, I was.
I know
always-
little about both those teams.
Yeah, I know nothing. I'll just go Arizona State.
Yeah, clean
I
sweep.
mean, there's a road for Iowa State. There's a road for Iowa State to win that game. Like, it's not a set in stone. Like, this is a 1.5 point spread.
Yeah.
Arizona's way. I've rode Arizona all year. I'm gonna ride them now. I don't know why I would take anybody else. But like, this game is not a lockup. This is not a
No, it's not guaranteed.
this is not a guarantee. This is gonna be a decent football game. I'm taking Arizona State to
right.
win and cover.
I feel like I'm turning into Reese Davis here on College Game Day when you got 10:55 on the clock and we're going through all the picks. We need to get through some of these picks. We've got a lot to get to with the bracket, so we're going to jump right into the SEC Championship tomorrow afternoon. Texas and Georgia. Give me the Longhorns.
Really,
Yep.
really.
I think Carson Beck, his confidence is shot. He has not played well as of
Got
late.
exposed again.
As of late, you mean all season?
Well, even worse as of late. Like he hasn't been what he was last year, I guess you could say. But their receivers, you lock down their receivers, you hone in on their running back. If you can put
Etienne's
pressure,
coming back.
if you can put pressure on Carson Beck, I think Texas eats tomorrow.
My question is, how does Georgia duplicate game one?
Yep.
That's a great question. So I mean, obviously, so Quinn Ewers, little hobbled, little hurt. Problem number one.
That's
Broken
fine.
record.
They do have Arch Manning to come in and
Yeah.
Who I
They
believe you
kinda
will.
ran that
I believe you'll see packages for Art.
That's what I was just
In
going to
this
say.
game,
They
yes.
ran that little.
definitely, I agree. But Georgia, they got Etienne coming back, so that's a big deal there.
How
huge.
big is it?
I think it's pretty big.
He's
deal.
been sitting. He's
ETN
missed
was
half.
huge in
I
game
know,
one.
but he
I
missed
think
half
it's-
the season.
I think it's a pretty big deal because now they know the guys behind him have filled in well for him. So now that you have that extra layer with him being back, it's just going to add to it.
the 49ers rushed Christian McCaffrey back, and look what happened to him.
That's a different scenario.
I'm just
and
saying.
it was in the snow.
Texas has been playing better football. Texas they're finally starting to come into their own, their identity of who they want to be as a football team, and they've already seen this game once.
Can we really say Texas has been playing truly better
There's-
football when you're looking at their schedule?
There
like,
is
it doesn't matter.
there is only one stat category they're not in the top 3 in college football on, and that is plays over 20 plus yards. They're 12th.
Defensively?
Defensively.
But look at their competition. You wanted to talk about Ashton Genty earlier and his level of competition. let's talk about.
That's why I think.
Let's talk about Texas'
I mean,
level of competition.
Didn't
We got
Michigan just
0.
beat Ohio State?
Or no? I guess
They're
they beat
equivalent
Oklahoma.
teams.
Didn't Michigan just beat Ohio State? I believe that same Michigan team got absolutely destroyed by this Texas team.
I agree.
Yeah.
They did. But we know
That's why I think
we know
Texas-
Michigan's not a good team.
That's why I think Texas eats tomorrow, because they know that a lot of people in the committee are holding that first game over Georgia over their heads, because that was really Texas's true only competition. Like, big game. They played them at home, didn't play great. So they know that this is a prove it to the country game for Texas.
Are we willing to go ahead and give up on Kirby Smart, though? Are we willing to doubt that Kirby Smart can have his team ready to play in this football game? Who's been here time and time again?
That's the point I was about
Depends
to
on
make.
if there's any arrests tonight.
There's been so many instances, especially this season, with how awful. I mean, let's be honest here. Georgia should be a 3-4 loss team. They won by 1 point against Kentucky. Obviously, Alabama beat them. They lost to Ole Miss.
Yep.
Georgia Tech.
So like, I mean, they could easily be a 4-loss team, but they found a way to win the games outside of the Ole Miss and Alabama game.
If there was 5 minutes left in that Bama game, they'd probably win
it's
that
over
one.
with, right? So, but even still, outside of those couple games, they still found the way to win. So, I mean, that's what the point I was going to make, is that every game we've, truthfully, as far as this season goes, we've expected them to ultimately lose. They have found a way to win, and that's what, I hate to say it, championship teams do. The games that that have been tight, and that we don't we think they should win, but don't truthfully expect them to win. They're doing it, and that's what so many championship teams have done.
Yeah.
I do think that Texas also go playing with a little chip on their shoulder because Bevo's not allowed in the stadium.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But
So-
Vegas has Texas favored as well.
Do they?
So
Yes.
that always points to.
You're biased.
How am I biased?
To money?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm gonna. Yeah, you just whatever
right,
Vegas
so I got-
thinks is
I mean,
what-
Vegas got Boise favored. Who did I take?
that's true. Well, that's not fair though. It's still Vegas.
I got another one. You're right.
it's still Vegas.
I got another one coming up too later.
All right, so I got Texas in that one.
Go ahead.
Texas.
Boy, you can cue up to Pat McAfee what he did to Georgia last year in the SEC
I hate
championship.
that song, yeah.
Oh,
Give
my
me
God.
Texas.
Yeah.
Look, there's probably no one actually here that hates Georgia more than I do. I'm being so for real. I mean, I can't stand them. They're my Auburn equivalent.
You gotta love Kirby though.
No, you almost going to say the F word. I almost got in trouble because
Kirby came from us.
I don't give a crap.
So did Sark.
I mean, we can't lose in this game.
Yeah.
I'm taking Georgia, boys.
Okay. All right. We got Louisiana
I like that. I
playing
like the
against
pick.
the Fighting Randy Mosses.
Oh, bro, I can't.
Do we want to talk about Randy Moss and what he's doing?
Yeah, he's got some health concerns
Yeah,
going on.
he-
T's and
Yeah, he
P's.
stepped away from ESPN.
Yeah, that was announced today. Like, he made the announcement the other day about him being sick, and he officially stepped away today.
Yep.
So prayers up to
Whole
Randy.
ball as well.
Yeah, one of the all-time greats.
Great on
The field.
Fox NFL Sunday.
Yeah. So yeah, Louisiana, Marshall. We are Marshall.
Yep.
My little Matthew
Give me
McConaughey
Marshall.
dance.
Give me the Fighting Randy Mosses.
Hopefully they're taking a charter bus, not plane.
Here we go.
Marshall took a chunk of change from me last week
Oh, no.
in that JMU
See?
game,
Oh, no.
and that hurt, and I can't forgive that. Give me the Raging Cajuns, baby.
Raging Cajuns,
Give me
baby.
the Raging Cajuns to win this football
Sponsored by Popeyes or Raising Cane's.
And Ed Orgeron. All right, here we go. All right, another huge game.
We're not doing our picks?
Implications. I did. I gave Marshall.
I'll go Louisiana just because.
Raging Cajuns, baby, up.
Okay.
Slow it down over there.
game. Marshall's favorite, I think, by the way.
Okay. Give me
For
the.
Bovada, they have them -5.5, but
Yeah,
that's Bovada.
Marshall's favorite.
We good now?
Yes.
Yes. You
No,
know,
I was
the
saying
lead.
Louisiana's favored.
I guess
Oh,
we're-
are they?
Yeah.
Oh, roll tide. Take that.
You may proceed.
All right, here we go. Penn State and Oregon. This is, again, I think they're both in the playoff regardless of what happens. This is a prove-it game going forward for both teams because Oregon, outside of Ohio State, lack of competition. I think we can all agree on opponents this year.
Which they won the game.
You play Boise State.
They've won. Penn State has the only competition they played this year they lost when they played at home.
Against who?
Ohio State.
Exactly.
20-13.
Yeah.
Good close game. They didn't play Mo Bamba enough, I don't believe.
Wow. No, that game should have been played at night. That was a crime that was played first thing in the morning.
Absolutely disgusting by Fox Sports.
That's just the Big Ten way. They
I
love
was
that.
about to say, welcome to the noon kickoff.
Yeah. Gus Johnson was not happy about it either. So, yeah, Penn State, another team, really a more prove-it game for Penn State to prove to everybody that, hey, we can hang. We belong in the playoff. You know, like I said, regardless, they're in, regardless of what happens tomorrow. But give me the Donald Ducks.
So the thing about Penn State these last few years is, can they get over the hump? And that hump being Ohio State and Michigan.
Yep.
Oregon throws in a different caliber, and this is James Franklin's and Drew Allard's time to show, can we or can we not, baby? I don't know. The defensive line on Penn State can give Oregon Ducks some problems, but Oregon's O-line is up for the Joe Moore Award, and I believe deserved the Joe Moore Award.
Yeah.
I don't think Penn State gets home near as much, and that two-headed monster they got in the backfield, I believe they get stopped more than they would like to be stopped, and they're forced to throw the football. Give me the Oregon Ducks to win and cover.
Yeah, can Will Howard play up to that type of pressure? Not Will Howard. Sorry.
Dylan Gabriel?
No, I'm talking about for Penn
Drew
State.
Allen.
Oh,
Drew Allen,
Allen,
yeah,
yeah.
my bad. Will Howard is with Ohio State. Sorry.
Yeah, we see what happens to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm rolling the Ducks on this one too. Dan Lanning mainly. No.
This is gonna be a slugfest. Like, this is gonna be a fight. This is not. There's a world where both
wonder
teams run away with this game, but this is not. I don't think this is gonna be
Where's the game being played?
wherever the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't know.
Indianapolis.
Is that where?
Oh, okay, it's indoors, so weather's not a factor.
Yeah, weather's not a factor in
They're
this game.
they're built for it anyways.
Who?
Penn State.
least Penn State
Penn
is.
State would be. That's what I was getting at. Is that if it was an outdoor game, but yeah, it is Indianapolis. And
Oh, no, Oregon gets pretty cold, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't recall any snow games they really ever have to play in ever.
I think
Really,
Dylan
ever.
Gabriel steps up in the big games. I think he's ready for the big moment.
What is he on his fourth team?
He is. He's the most experienced college football quarterback.
60-year quarterback.
He's the most experienced
He
quarterback.
took
in
that
college
title
football.
from Bo Nix.
And he has come through the Texas game when he was with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Here we were with the Ohio State game at Oregon.
Yep.
Can he go 3 for 3 and put them in the playoff as the number 1 seed?
Yep. Give me the Rubber Duckies.
Yeah,
As an undefeated team.
The only undefeated.
If
undefeated
nothing
team.
else, they always have to have Nike and Phil Knight as your guys. You know, Phil Knight, one of the CEOs or the founders of Nike, to have that in your back pocket and constantly giving you the best up to date gear and the coolest unis. What a luxury!
Yeah.
Did you make your pick?
I'm on board with that.
I'm gonna go Oregon.
Yeah, smart.
Clean sweep again.
I think that's a pretty easy choice there.
Yeah.
All right. The biggest game tomorrow for a lot of college football's big fan base.
For Alabama fans,
I mean,
For Alabama fans.
chaos in a world of college football.
Yeah. There's 4 teams, fan bases that are anxious about tomorrow's game.
yeah. So obviously, like Colton was saying, this is a huge game. It will honestly directly affect Alabama, whether or not they probably get it or not. I still think that Alabama's a lock regardless. But yeah, no, it's a huge game. This is going to be SMU's biggest test of the season, without a doubt. They really haven't played a caliber
No.
of team like this, right?
Not at all.
BYU.
KJ and I were talking about
Earlier in the
earlier.
year.
We were talking about earlier. I mean, the size difference going to it, man.
This is the only game that SMU's played with this kind of size difference, this kind of difference in athletes. SMU has made money off of being a balanced football team and hitting the long shot. And I believe Vegas has this game at the under of 56.
Really?
I don't believe this game gets over 50. And I think Clemson wins this game 24 to somewhere right around 17 or 14.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much on the same line of thinking as you there. As honestly, again, as a Bama fan, as much as we need SMU to win,
Yeah.
I do believe
Out of all teams, we're relying on SMU.
I do think with the coaching experience over the last decade and Dabo, that
In this game.
across the board, up through the national championships, that they have that experience that SMU hasn't had in 50 years when they used to be the
But Rhett
original Alabama team.
Lashley has experience in big games. He's the head coach for SMU,
Yeah.
Former Auburn offensive coordinator.
Does he, though? Does he really have?
Yeah, wasn't he the coordinator under Malzahn and Chiswick, right?
I mean, it might have been. There's a difference.
Malzahn was the coordinator under Chiswick. He was
But
the OC.
then Malzahn took over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of just coaching, I don't know. SMU's biggest competition game this year so far has been BYU, who during their Cinderella story beat some good teams and they won some football games they shouldn't have won. This is a different caliber of football team that they're fixing to square up between the hedges with.
They just have the better athletes. It's not even down to execution, truly.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's just athletes. So
You got 4 or 5 stars going against
So-
2
SMU
and
could
3
win this
stars.
football game.
They could absolutely prove a lot of people wrong. I'm really not quite sure what the people's thinking is on this across America.
Yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of people are very like-minded as us, is saying that they probably expect Clemson to win. So with that being said, again, we all want SMU to win, but we probably expect Clemson to win just due to the caliber of athletes that they have. With that all being said, again, I want SMU to win, but if Clemson were to win, I want them to beat the dog piss out of SMU.
Yeah,
I want them to beat them
doubt.
so bad that the committee says, you know what? Even though SMU's been good, this is how they're going to look the remainder of the playoffs. Yeah, they probably don't need to be in.
And regardless, SMU gets, let's say Clemson dog walks them. SMU gets left out. That'll only be their second loss, with their second loss being in the conference championship.
Only one loss in the regular season.
Yeah. Which happened early on. I think it was like week 3 or 4. They played a BYU team.
But to no wins over top 25 teams, the best game they've played to date is number 18 BYU. Was it game 2?
Yeah.
It was
also-
very, very early.
They've also beaten 22 Louisville, 18 Pittsburgh.
Those were the rankings at the time.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't believe any of
But I
those
mean,
teams.
you can't.
You can.
Well,
because
you
that's
can.
like saying, though, with Florida State at the beginning of the year, what were they, 5th at the beginning of the season?
Well,
Or
the
whatever.
committee,
I mean, that's
the
like-
committee said this week they're looking at current ranked teams.
Yeah.
That's what's helped Bama be in the situation that they're in, is like their big wins are against current ranked, where their opponents are currently ranked.
Yeah. And I think that is very fair.
Is Louisville and Pitt currently ranked
I don't know if Louisville,
right now? Because I believe Iowa State is number 18.
yeah.
I want to show you how to go through that a little bit quicker. I got you, bro.
Learning moments here.
So Louisville is not ranked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't think
what
Pitt
was the
is.
other one?
Pitt,
Is Pitt a 2-loss team?
Stupid ad.
at minimum. There is a website called ESPN, and you
He's
just
on
click.
it. He's got a big ad popping up right in the middle of his screen every time he scrolls.
I'm very curious what that ad is. What have you been watching?
Verbo.
Oh, it was Verbo. Shout out Verbo.
I could take a vacation.
Yeah.
Vacation
Yeah.
to Vegas.
BYU or Louisville are not ranked.
Yep. Okay.
No, BYU's number 18. I
Pitt.
believe.
Oh, sorry. Or
Pitt.
Pitt. That was right.
Yeah.
So
That's not right.
a funny thing about SMU is their recruiting, one of their head recruiting guys was a coach that I worked for at JSU, J.R. Sandlin.
Here we go.
So I guess got some ties to SMU.
This is their first year in the conference, man. And for them to be here is just the fact that we have 3 first-year teams in the conference
Represent their
championships of these,
conference,
between the Oregon Ducks, Texas Longhorns, and now the SMU, was it
Well,
Broncos?
even Arizona State
Mustangs.
and Iowa State.
Mustangs. You're
Or
close.
Arizona State.
same.
You're
Yeah.
close.
Are they?
They were Pac-12 last year.
Yeah, you're
Now
right.
they're Big 12 this
Oh.
year. So that's
You're
4
very right.
newcomers to a conference that's being represented in a new conference championship.
That was
game.
like Missouri 10, 12 years ago whenever
Yeah.
they first came aboard. They played Auburn in the SEC championship.
Played
I'm going
Bama
to take
too.
a separate parlay that just takes all the first years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me the new guys.
All
No,
right.
yeah, no,
So,
no.
I'm Clemson. KJ.
Give me Clemson, baby.
I'm sticking
Dabo
with
and
the
no
Mustangs.
Dabo and no transfer
I'm going
portal.
Clemson.
Roll Mustangs, roll.
I want to see
that's
Dabo
what- that's
after
what we
this
want.
game. I want to see him come out and address all the haters, talk about the transfer portal, and show what the transfer portal did for all these other teams that it didn't do for him.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
I'm picking with my heart, not my brain.
don't got much.
I mean,
beat.
SMU can win this game too. None of these are.
No, exactly. Yeah. And then
downs.
that's what makes college football great. Any given Saturday,
Agreed.
right? Any given Saturday.
Alabama did only score 3 points against Oklahoma. Yep.
We don't talk
So
about that.
with that being said, we're going to transition into the college football bracket. It's going to be brought to you by Goosehead Insurance, Cranston Holding. If you're looking for home, auto, and life insurance, if you're looking to set up your family in a good spot, if New Year coming up, you want to set up something nice for your family, make sure to reach out to Cranston Holding over at Goosehead. He will get you the best offers that you and your family can afford.
All right, let's roll into it, dude.
Yep.
So,
all right. So representing your top 4 for the 12-team playoff, you've got number 1 seed, undefeated, assuming they win in the Big Ten championship, Oregon. And then you have at the 2 seed representing the SEC, Texas. 3 seed representing the ACC and SMU, and little old Boise State, home of Ashton Genty, coming in at the 4
Smurf turf, baby.
Yeah, coming in at the 4 seed. And it's crazy because we were, before, the past couple of days, we thought that the top 4 seeds get to represent, the home field advantage for that second round, but that is not the case.
yeah, that's not the case.
And that's a bummer.
It kind of is. Yeah, I agree. Like, they do get the bye, but it would have been cool to also see them.
Give your fans.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of money by not allowing,
Yeah.
by getting the bye on these first 4 teams.
Well, you get money. It's just corporate.
But you lose all of like the home field advantage, like
Yeah.
the stadium.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been
give
more,
the 4 seed, like the top 4 seeds, give it something worth playing for.
I mean, the bye is still worth playing for in a
That's
sense.
huge.
But, yeah, I mean, for the fans in a sense,
But
the
you
home field
asked-
advantage.
You asked the 5th seed, the 8th seed, the 6th seed, and the 7th seed. You asked them, would you rather have a first round bye or would you rather represent home field for the first round of the playoffs?
Well, if it stays the same and I was the 5 seed, I'll take the first round bye because they got 2 byes back to back.
That's true.
Yeah.
But not this case because they got to play tomorrow, Penn State.
That's true. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the home field advantage should have been extended to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And then from there, we would have seen our, technically official bowl games for the semis and the.
Those New Year's 6 games would have sucked if that's how they would have done it.
Why is that?
It would have been like UNLV versus Indiana or not Indiana, but one of those other garbage teams that are ranked out of the playoff.
It would have still been the game in the playoffs. It just wouldn't have. It would have been at one of their respective home fields. Whoever had the better. You know what I'm saying? So okay, let's say all right. So we've got right now Texas is the 2 seed. So the winner of 10-seeded Indiana and 7-seeded Georgia would play Texas, right? So let's say Indiana wins against Georgia. Let's just be crazy here. Then the game would be at Texas, right? It's not. That's not what's going to happen. But we're just saying, what if? I mean, I think that's fair. I feel like in addition to getting the bye, it would just add an extra layer, an extra, coolness factor.
Like a proximity to the New Year's 6. Is that what you're saying?
No, the New Year's 6. Yeah, the New Year's 6. So then, if Indiana beat Georgia and then the Indiana played Texas, it would be at Texas home field. And then the winner of after the top 4 teams get their bye, the quarterfinals, then you transition into those bowl games.
Like your Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl.
When it gets to the semis, that's when those would take place.
Needs to be changed.
Yeah.
100%.
But anyways, continue on, Colton, there.
Yeah, so that's your top 4 seeds right now. It's sitting at the 5th seed would be hosting at home against your Big 12 champ Arizona State.
It's Penn State. Penn State's playing Arizona. You just said the 5th seed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he didn't say who the 5 seed was.
Penn State is your 5 seed.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Pretty sure I said that.
Yeah.
Okay, number 6 at the 6th seed hosting the ever so controversial Alabama. Would be going up to South Bend.
You did it again.
No, I did not. I said,
You said the 6th
Notre
seed,
Dame,
the number 6 seed.
Notre Dame. About to walk out. Justin, I'm getting bullied again.
Take it from the top.
Justin, I'm getting bullied again. All right, number 7 seed Georgia would then be hosting number 10 seed Indiana. 8 seed Ohio State would be hosting 9 seed Tennessee.
Yep.
Boom.
That was fantastic.
You happy now?
Yeah.
I'm going to smack you.
Can't wait. I look forward to that.
All right, so out of all those teams, the only team really that's sitting on the bubble who may not be there come Sunday afternoon is Alabama. We can get into that real quick. Miami being in that top 4 spot seemingly all year, or since the college bracket started coming out, get bounced all the way out of the playoffs, sitting at 13 right now.
Deservedly so.
I believe so too. Unbiased opinion, you look at strength of schedule, you look at records of your opponents, you look at your wins, you look at your losses.
Yeah, I mean, there's truthfully 3 to 4 games that they should have lost. We know for 2 that they technically lost.
Yeah.
With Virginia Tech and then
Georgia Tech.
Cal, yeah. Where they did lose, but then the refs overturned it. It's literally at the end of the game with no time left.
Yeah.
So, but when reviewing the videos, man, I think everyone agrees that,
I feel like the main reason for that is the committee accounted for Bama's good wins outweighed Miami's wins.
No doubt.
Despite Bama's bad losses. And I think that's what the committee, because the committee is ultimately trying to put in the 12 best teams in. And we've said it even when Bama was left at 13 after they lost to Oklahoma. It's like somebody in the committee is banking on getting Alabama's best whenever they play.
Yep.
Yeah. So I have a interesting discussion. I don't believe this could happen, but I'll just open it up just in case. So let's say UNLV just beats the brakes off of Boise State tonight, like wins by 40 points. Do y'all think that's convincing enough? Boise State being ranked 10, but the number 4
seed.
Yeah, conference champion or presumed. Is that enough of a resume for them to?
I don't think they leave.
Out?
I don't think they leave 2 Mountain West teams in
you're
the
definitely
playoff.
no. You're
I'm
not
saying like Boise State gets bounced, but you think
you're not getting
from 20?
You're not getting 2 group of 5 teams. If UNLV wins, they're jumping to 12 seed, and Arizona State takes one of the top 4.
Yeah.
And then it becomes how it was all set up to be.
Yeah.
The Power 4 conferences catch a bye, champions catch a bye, and then UNLV, the group of 5, will sit at 12.
Yeah.
That's how that would end up playing out. I mean, unless you just beat Boise State by 97, then we can have a conversation.
But is UNLV the best team ever assembled?
Ever.
Yeah, I mean,
The Avengers of football.
I think that's how it sits. I think it just jumps Arizona State into one of the top 4.
It's just flopping some
and
teams.
UNLV jumps into the 12 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that hasn't been mentioned yet either is I don't know if this has been confused by the public or not, but I was just recently discovered this or, dug a little deeper. It's the top 4 is the 4 highest ranked conference champions, not the highest ranked Power 4 conference.
Yeah.
So that's why, as things stand right now, Boise State is the number 4 over, like an Arizona State, Iowa State.
But all 5 conference champions will be in the playoff.
Yeah, and honestly, I hate it. I think this is a great job going to the 12-team format, 12-team playoff. Horrible decision doing that because, again, with the case of Arizona State, who's currently, ranked 16th, so well outside the top 12. What's the point of having a top 12 if the team who's at the 12th place doesn't get to be in?
I guess it's for reasons like SMU. Let's say they were number 4.
Okay, let's say the team. Okay, here's my argument. Okay, so Arizona State and who was that they're playing?
Iowa State.
Iowa State. Let's say Iowa State wasn't ranked at all. Okay, outside the top 25, and they were to beat Arizona State. Are they deserving to be in the top 12?
Yeah, that's the whole meaningful purpose of the conference championship game.
No, see, I disagree because
See,
if you're
that's in the bylaws of the
I understand.
committee. Okay.
I get that.
Gotcha.
If they're not top 25, though, do they deserve to be in the top 12 of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Well,
if Iowa State, if I know they are ranked top 25, I'm saying pretend if they were not ranked top 25, but still made it to their conference championship and then turn around and beat Arizona State, are you telling me that's deserving of being in the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a tough scene. I don't
No,
think so.
it's not.
Conference championships.
I understand the way
No,
it is.
yeah.
I'm saying that realistically, ask yourself:
Like, if
is
the
that
Big
is
12
that
was
will,
a-
is that deserving? No.
If the Big 12 was a crap conference and Arizona State, you have, they're ranked 15th. If the Big 12 was just a very bad conference and Iowa State was just represented because they had the second best record in the conference,
Yep.
upset Arizona State, that would kick Arizona State out. And like you said, if Iowa State was potentially not even in the top 25, they jump
Let's say they had
12
like a
other teams to
6
get
and
to the
5
top
record or something
right.
like that.
Yeah.
I believe
In that case, I would say piss on that. They don't deserve to be
Exactly.
in the
That
playoff.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe there's special cases for that, but I believe that every conference champion, so there should only be 4, and then one group of 5 team.
Yeah.
Because say that Tulane is an AAC, say that they had a better record than Boise. It doesn't have to be Mountain West or AAC. You have the Sun Belt too with JMU last year. Mm-hmm. So I believe the top 4 conferences champions belong in the playoffs. Now, whether that is at 1 or if that's at 12,
Now that I can
I
agree with.
agree
Yeah.
that they all
should be
4
represented.
belong in there. I don't care what
Yeah.
your record is. You won that conference. You played in that. Like here, you are the representative. If you don't show out, you're TCU against Georgia years ago.
Yeah.
But remember, TCU beat Michigan that year.
Yeah. They do.
So
in
I
a
believe
dogfight,
that
too.
I believe that all 4 of your power conferences deserve at least one representative, and it is the conference champion.
I can
And
get
then the
behind that.
group of 5 is all dependent.
They're fighting for one spot.
Yeah, it's all dependent on who is the best,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where I stand
'Cause, like,
on that.
See, I
That's
can,
like-
I can get behind that, but again, I was just making the point of
Yeah.
if
I
a-
get on
if a
board with that because
crap
that would be,
team is somehow capable of making it to their conference championship, playing against a team that is ranked,
Yep.
and we're saying, oh, the winner of this conference championship gets to go in. Well, that crap team could somehow, any given Saturday here, could beat the actual deserving team, and then just because of the fact that they won, they get to be in. I think that's
what I have a
terrible.
problem with is the top 4 seeded, how it's seeded.
Yeah.
That's what I have a problem with, because you're telling me that Boise State's better than Notre Dame.
Oh,
You're telling me that
example there.
whoever
Or even Arizona
who-
State or Iowa State.
Well, whoever
who is in
loses
the
to
other
Penn
conference.
State, the Penn State Oregon game, say it's Penn State. You think Boise State's better than Penn State?
no.
So I don't agree with the top 4. They can be number
Yes.
5, 6, whatever
Yeah.
they want to be. Chaos ensued this year, which is why they're the top 4.
yeah.
But I don't agree with that. Do I agree SMU should be number 3 if they win?
No.
This year, because that's how it's written,
Right.
yes. But next year, SMU going to take down Ohio State?
Well, it's like
yeah.
me and Preston discussed this several weeks ago. It's like there's on the list they had at the time, which is most of what's still there. There's 4 or 5 teams within the top 12 that's better than both Boise State and SMU.
Mm-hmm.
But like Peyton said earlier, it's like we don't have that much controversy now, but there is going to be a time where there's going to be, like you said, a hovering 500 team that gets represented in a conference championship, beats that higher ranked team that's in that same conference championship and get thrown into that 12 spot.
And it's going to be the Big 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's going to
Their
be.
little brother in this case, yeah.
I mean, you're not going to see that anytime in the near future between the Big Ten. I can't see the
Because Colorado's
SEC.
not going to be the same team that they
No.
were.
Yeah,
Like they're
it's going to be the Big 12, and that's going to be the argument is
Yeah.
how does that work?
Tell me a team that's not ranked. Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that.
because you're going to get
Yeah,
the same
thank you.
situation
But
every
you
year.
you won the championship. However you got there, just like Clemson right now. Clemson got there with 3 losses. They only got there because Miami lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got there somehow,
And that's still so crazy because they lost also.
Yeah.
The fact that
but they didn't lose a
conference game. Yes. I know.
But like, say that happens. If you win your conference championship, you deserve a spot, but you are number 12. You're going to play the big dog that's not got a bye.
yeah.
Like you're going to play the best team, not in the top 4. And
That's why there's been people saying that the place to be is the 5th seed.
yes, right now for sure. Unless
Well, even going forward.
even if Boise gets beaten, UNLV wins and everybody else stays the same. Yeah, because then UNLV drops to the 12th spot, and Arizona State takes the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, either way, that 5th seed going forward, you've got that first game's a cupcake, and
Agreed.
you're hosting at home. And then that second round game is potentially a
imagine,
cakewalk too.
Yeah.
Imagine being Oregon. Imagine winning.
They lose tomorrow and go to the 5th seed?
Imagine being the number 1 team and your reward is you get Tennessee or Ohio State. That's your reward.
Yeah.
Not number 1, you get the winner of Penn State, Arizona State.
Right, yeah.
Like you're about to play.
You're getting a hard,
Yeah. Like you either have a big SEC matchup or you have a rematch of the team you beat by 1 in your own house.
Yeah. So I got a quote from the committee commissioner from Ward Manuel from ESPN. He quoted, "Those who are not playing," this is referring to the conference championship games this weekend, "those who are not playing, we will not adjust those teams because they don't have another data point." So that goes for Alabama, Notre Dame, Indiana, Tennessee, Ohio State. Was that 5 teams that, regardless what happens tomorrow, are essentially a lock? Now, everybody in the country knows that's not necessarily true with Alabama because they got
I'm
that.
taking him for his word.
And that's another thing too. Is like that's a bold statement to make because let's say Clemson beats SMU tomorrow.
That's what we're talking about.
They're going to leave Alabama out, and people's going to go for his head. It's like you said that. This doesn't matter.
That's where they leave the door open for a close game and an SMU loss. Yeah. Obviously, Clemson loses. This ain't even a conversation.
Yep.
But they leave the door open for a close game, and they also leave the door open for Clemson to blow the doors off of SMU and beat them by 21, and then you have a real conversation about, like, do they belong there?
That'd be hilarious if Clemson wins by, like, 7 or 10.
That's
and
my thing is 10
and they
to
just leave them
14.
both out.
Well, you can't do that.
I know.
Clemson's
I
in.
know. I know. Again, because they're the freaking winners.
Yep. See, a lot of controversy circling tomorrow's really ACC championship game. And I'm glad that game's at 7 o'clock. You let all the other games get over with. That is a marquee game.
And what are we doing tomorrow night?
We'll know tonight if there's controversy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll know tonight for one of the games there was controversy, but that ACC championship game everything kind of relies on it. Yeah. It all hinges, Alabama's whole future hinges on that one game this year.
Yep.
Regardless of whether we want them or not, is Alabama deserving of being in? Regardless of how things play out.
Not if they're going to play Ohio State.
Regardless of how things have played out or will play out. Let's be honest with ourselves. Is Alabama truly deserving with how they played this season?
I'm
going off their last 2 games. No,
because
they didn't look good against Auburn. They turned the ball over 4 times and still won. That just shows how bad Auburn's been.
The weight of winning a national championship should mean something. 1, to protect our old titles, and 2, just because I think like winning this should be like I still don't believe 12 teams should even have a seat at the table. Because it's not like baseball where any team can win it, but you're still leaving the door open for a Cinderella to happen.
I have to
protect our 18. I want the most deserving teams to win to protect our 18.
Keep it here though, because Bama makes it in. I love their road.
Yeah, no, that aspect of it I agree with. I feel like if they make it in, yes, I do think that they are capable.
You got to go
winning.
to Notre Dame, which is probably a tough barn to play.
I think they're fully capable of winning. But I'm just talking about from a deserving standpoint.
No, I know.
My only worry is if Texas and Oregon both win their respective conference championships, I don't think Penn State's the 5 seed. I think Notre Dame is. I think Penn State falls behind Ohio State because they had the head-to-head matchup.
It'll be the highest ranked champion, so Notre Dame is 4 and they're playing.
Yeah, I don't think they can get that 5 seed, Notre Dame, because they don't have a conference championship.
If it's the highest ranked champion, then Penn State don't belong there either.
I don't know.
That would be Arizona State that gets the 5 seed.
Notre Dame won't even be a conference champion, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying, but neither is Penn State. If Oregon wins, Penn State wouldn't be a conference champion either.
I think that, and I know y'all can't see it.
It would be Arizona State.
But I think it's probably very, very, very close. I don't see much fall off happening. I really don't see much switching up. Like, if like Georgia beats Texas.
Team wise, no. There may be a couple of shakeups.
If Georgia wins the SEC championship against Texas, they'll be the 2 seed. Yep. But like you're talking about, if Oregon beats Penn State tomorrow, I still believe that Penn State would probably be roughly the 5 seed.
Well, they swap them with Ohio State since Ohio State beat them head to head.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, though. But like Notre Dame moves up, and then Penn State falls behind Ohio State because Ohio State has
I don't
the
think Notre Dame
head-to-head.
would move.
I think Notre Dame would fall to the 6 and still play.
They're already
Notre Dame's
6.
at 6, yeah.
I think they're sticking. I think they'd stick.
That's my only thing. If Georgia beats Texas and Oregon beats Penn State, Texas takes the 5 seed.
I think the only teams that are moving are the ones who are playing this weekend. I think the teams aren't playing, they're probably stuck.
I think the only 2 locks for the 5 seed would be Texas or Oregon if the other wins their respective conference. I think the only 2 locks for the 5 seed would be if Georgia wins, Texas takes it, and if Texas wins and Oregon gets beat by Penn State, Oregon takes the 5 seed.
I think Georgia
those are the
and
only 2
Texas
locks.
flop.
The only 2 spots you'd want to be in, let's say this is the final bracket. The 2 spots you want to be in is Alabama and Penn State.
5 and 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just based off the teams you got to play and then could potentially play in the next round.
And Alabama's, say they stay right there, Alabama's could get even easier.
Yeah.
Because if Clemson wins and Arizona State jumps in, Arizona State's technically a higher ranked conference champion than
Clemson.
So Arizona State would jump to where SMU is.
Yeah, because Clemson's
Yes,
at
they would.
17.
So
yeah.
Clemson would jump to would
12.
they just be the at large?
They would be the 12th.
Well, yeah, the boy
Yeah.
But if that just happens, then
It's very
Boise would jump to number 3, Arizona State would jump to 4, and then Clemson would be your at large.
Yeah.
It'd have to be number 12.
For sure. Dude, y'all, it is a crazy weekend. I hope that there actually is just major chaos.
The Sunday
while Alabama still gets
Sunday
in.
selection show is probably going to be the most watched event of the year.
Unless Vegas is right on these games and they go like that.
Yeah.
If they just go Oregon, Texas, SMU,
If it goes how expected.
Arizona State, Boise, I just think it's going to be kind of
How it already is.
somebody's going to find something to complain with about where somebody's ranked no matter what.
Yeah.
But I really think there might be some shakeups here, and I think Oregon better have their head on a swivel because they're about to play a good team.
Yep.
Texas, SMU, I just don't know. And then
we really
Boise, Arizona State, all conference championship games, I don't see any locks. I think Oregon and Texas are the 2
Except for JSU.
biggest locks.
So you think there's any way, let's say Boise still wins tonight. Do you think there's any way Arizona State, Iowa State, winner of that still jumps them?
No.
And like passes them in the ranking?
I don't think.
No.
Because
I don't think so.
If that was the case, then they would already be
not
playing with that.
Unless
They're
they
not going to
just
put them top 4 if
decide.
they didn't believe that they would stay there with winning their conference.
I mean, it's a number 10 versus a number 20 versus like a 15 versus 16.
Not
Yeah, so,
unless
I mean,
they
that's-
do the Power 4 first round buys
But if
And
they were to do
put
that,
Boise-
they would have never put
Yeah,
Boise
exactly.
in
and
the
put
top 4.
Boise down. That's the
Yeah.
only thing.
That's the
that-
argument I was trying to make the other day about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's the only way I see is if the committee just decides if that's what they do is say, hey, Power 4 gets the buys.
I say just put
the only
12
way.
teams in a hat. On
We've said
paper
it week
and just
after week, though.
freaking pull them out.
We've said it week after week. The committee was not prepared for SMU,
I'm here to
Boise
tell you-
State, Indiana.
You wanna talk
like-
about
happens
betting?
with the transfer portal?
You want to talk about betting? I will bet serious money that this 12 team playoff will not last long. It's gonna be 14 or more before long. It won't take.
I mean,
as
there's
long.
always
already opened
whoever's
the
on the
can of
bubble is
worms.
always going to have it.
Like I said last week, make it 24 teams like the FCS does.
I
If
thought
you do
this.
that, you got to play like a 10-game schedule because you're going to have them playing a lot.
They
of
don't.
games.
I thought
JSU's
this
9-3 right now.
I thought this
8-3.
12-team playoff was going to be a hindrance. I thought it was going to make games not matter. And I have
Somehow it's mattered more.
I've never been more wrong because the amount of 2-loss bad like losses, 3-loss teams that have come out and like the games you get out of that. Why would Texas A&M even care about Texas last week?
Yep.
Why would that game even matter
Yeah.
if it wasn't for this 12-team playoff? Because both were still fighting for something.
Yeah.
Before,
Yeah, because Texas A&M would have, if they had won, they would have been going to the SEC championship.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it right now. Who would be your top 4 in a 14 playoff? Oregon, Texas.
Not if Texas A&M beat Texas.
Well, I'm saying
It'd be Georgia probably.
even if Georgia wins the game, they wouldn't go in the 4 team
Yeah.
because they're a 3-loss team. They're a 2-loss team.
Yeah.
So
It'd still be controversial.
And
yeah.
again, this all goes back to me saying though, they need to get rid of the 4 buys being based on conference. It just needs to be on who is the best.
I
Who's
agree.
your 4 best teams? That's who needs to be rewarded. Screw the conference champion. I'm not saying downplay the conference. It has a lot of importance, but don't say
Make it
it's-
important, but don't give.
If
Yeah.
it comes down to a leeway of like they're pretty close,
Yeah,
Just make it
conference
a
champion.
yeah.
But
automatic bid to the playoff, but no, I'm at
Agree.
top 4.
Yeah.
We should have 5 automatic teams that get into the playoff. I don't care where they're seated. You could be 7 through 12 if that's how it falls.
Yep.
But like you have
That-
5
that's better.
automatics, and then the rest are determined based off of like ranking.
And going off of that too, like at least 2 of the top 4 spots would still end up being a conference champion
Absolutely.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Like
agreed.
you got to think like Big Ten and SEC is probably representing in the top 4
Yeah.
anyway.
But
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Georgia? If Georgia wins this game, you think Georgia would be
yeah,
a top seed?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. I think that 100%. If Georgia beats
Yeah.
Texas, they flop. I think Texas falls 7, and I think Georgia goes to 2.
Well, I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking
just
about
saying,
like
like-
if they didn't
Oh.
have the conference champions as the 4 like team
No,
buys.
no, they're like no. If they weren't doing it based on this way, no. Georgia's like
Georgia might
8th or
they might
9th.
scoot in at 4 if they win the SEC.
No,
I
they'd
think
be
so
like,
too. Yeah, because they take the conference like
Yeah.
they would take their strength
Yeah.
of schedule into account too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
You know
Yep.
what I want to see? I want to see Indiana go down and beat Georgia and then beat Texas. And I want everybody to, I can't say what I want to say, but I want everybody to get off of them
yeah.
because what I would give for that Cinderella story.
Indiana,
I'm talking
Boise,
about-
Indiana, Boise State national championship.
Because you know what I don't want to see again? After this weekend, I don't want to see Georgia, Texas again.
Why?
That'd be a third
Well, I
time
get
they
ya.
play. Like, I don't want to see that again.
Yeah,
I'd like
13th.
Texas to go win because that's our chance to win it, like to win the Natty.
Yeah.
Texas and Georgia. But like if Indiana just took
That's
out
what's gonna happen.
both the Giants.
Texas will win this weekend against Georgia, and then they'll meet again in the national championship for the 3-peat in one season.
You know, everything about that you just said might have been right, except for this weekend.
Yeah,
Texas taking that dub.
yeah.
yeah.
No, that's what I said this time. I said that Texas. I know earlier I said Georgia, but I'm saying
Got you.
in this instance the way that they
Texas is winning tomorrow because they won't let Bevo in this stadium.
are they gonna let Uga?
I'm sure you can shove him in a purse. It's
I think there's some controversy
got to be a
coming.
big purse.
All right, well that pretty much wraps it up for us today, right?
I think so. Yeah, I mean that's
Great episode.
We've gone over
Fun.
the
Love having these guys on with us.
yeah. We can only say so much because everything hinges on what happens tomorrow night at 7:00. Really, there's 3 teams at play for that last spot, that 11th spot. Everything else, I don't think there's going to be. I mean, obviously, if there's a couple of shakeups in the conference championships tomorrow, but you're looking at your bracket, what it's going to be. Outside of there's an asterisk on the 11th spot right now.
But we can't wait to get back with you guys after this weekend. We'll be in on Monday.
Wednesday.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, that's right.
Yep, be next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday. But with that being said, thank you all. And
and as
roll Tide.
Well, yeah. Before that, yeah. So we want to appreciate. We got to our.
I said what I said. Thank you, Roll Tide.
We got to our benchmark of 50 subscribers. Now we've got another goal to make. We're
500.
We're going for 500. Yeah. All right. We're going to start at 100.
Yeah.
We'll get us to 100.
Get us to 100, y'all.
We appreciate you guys following along and reaching out and telling everybody about us. Hopefully, we're providing good content for you guys. Each and every week, we're trying to get better. But this has been an amazing ride, and it's only going to get better after this weekend because you're going to have your bracket set, and there's going to be a lot of pissed off people
sir.
Sunday afternoon. But continue to reach out, continue to follow along with us, continue to watch, and as always, Roll Tide.
Roll
Thank
Tide.
you. Thank you guys for having us, man. We appreciate it. It was a great time.
Roll Mustangs.
Roll Mustangs, roll. Give me the Sun Devils, baby.